Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're just a couple of minutes after 4:30. I'm going to try and keep this to 30 minutes. It might extend to next week because there's a lot involved in this. But I actually thought this is a subject that I think is quite dear to all our hearts because I think we're all very busy people. Just to recap, by the way, if you are new, just realised I am Lisa Ware Reed. I am a senior group leader of many, many years. It is now 23 and a half. Do you know you get less than that for life? So here we go. We're going to start talking about essentials. What are the essential things we need to do in our business? Okay. So the first thing I think is the big one is time. Time is of the essence. Um, Even those that are retired, I'm going to say the retired people I meet, generally speaking, are not that retired. They're usually busier than they ever used to be, but now they're filling it up with things they'd rather do than what they used to have to do, which sounds really good, doesn't it? But I've got somebody about to join the business who is retiring after years of working because he doesn't want the grey matter to go stale. And I'm wholly with him there. So, how can we make time? So, guys, you all know this one. And if you don't, it's worth writing down and actually do it now because it's a reminder of your own situation. And you can extend this to new people that you bring in. Or if you've got a team and they're telling you they're too busy, this is a great one to do. Okay, so if you could write at the top of your page 168 hours. That's the number of hours that every single one of us in the whole wide world has got each day, a whole 24-hour period. All right, 168 in a week. So now I want you to write down the number of hours, include a bit of travel time if you have to do travel to your job. And some of you may have a second job or a third job. Could you put all those numbers of hours down that you do, everything to that? Okay. Then I want you to write down sleep, very essential. I'm starting to sleep better because of something that I'm now doing. I'm doing something called structured water, and after having a lifetime of only ever sleeping 5 hours a night and saying I was refreshed, I'm sleeping, I can't believe it, 7 and 8 hours every night now. So it's good because I'm told that's when our body repairs and all the good stuff happens. So there we are. Please put down the number of hours and obviously allow a bit of time that it takes to get ready. All right. Perhaps if you stuck an hour on each day, that allows for both ends, doesn't it? Right, now the next thing is essential stuff. So there would be maybe some people have parental duties, which could be things like getting kids to school, school clubs. It might be grandparents that have them for so many hours a week. I'm one of those now. In fact, tomorrow is I'm nanny woo tomorrow all day long. I'm looking after my two eldest grandsons for the whole day, so my eldest daughter can work. All that stuff is really important. I want you to put in maybe church, maybe social clubs, maybe I don't know, gym, sports. Um, Perhaps you do stuff for charities. Maybe you volunteer. Put all that stuff in. All right. Now, you may add, if you wish, something like, I don't know, 2, 3 hours a week. Oh, I don't believe it. It's my doorbell at the front. I'll have to leave it. Who knows? um, 2, 3 hours for shopping, because it is something that we have to do, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Now, if you add up all of that and take that away, that number from 168, write down how many hours you have left, because this is an important thing. This is going to give you an indicator of what time is available. Now, I'm going to say to you, I had a lady that I did this with, and she had an astonishing 86 hours left over. And I said to her, that's two full-time jobs. Wow, what a lot of hours. And she looked at me and said, well, I'm busy. And I'm thinking, ha, on what? And by the way, she put in dog walking time in there as well. So it's interesting. The one thing we know for sure is the people that are busiest are often the ones that find the time. Very fascinating that. I would advocate that there's a lot of people that are doing things like scrolling on social media, or they're sitting in front of the TV for 3, 4 hours every night. Do you know either of those activities don't earn us a single penny? And in fact, probably they only make somebody else wealthy. Isn't that fascinating? Okay. And they're definitely not productive. So now you've got an essence. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're pretty busy and all that's left is about 35 hours a week. Okay. I would be saying to myself or somebody new, could I prioritize 10 of them? Because if I could prioritize 10 of those, do you know what? You can have a really good business with UW. Very good. But this is if you use it for what we call rainmaker activity. Okay. So what's the essential activities that you need to do? Well, here they go. Are you ready? It's building your contact list. That's the number one. Every single day, you should endeavour to add names to your list. And I am going to put it to you, if you're not, why not? Because every day I am. Every day I'm meeting people. I'm meeting people that could be possible prospects for either saving or making money. Yesterday, we left it till Bank Holiday Monday to do the weekly shop. And we are what I call, we're called supermarket tarts. All right. We don't show any allegiance to anybody. I just go to different ones that, the stuff that I don't grow or we don't get from the farm. Yeah, we go somewhere different. And I will tell you a little story about what happened. A prospect who actually I might be on Zoom tonight with. All right. What happened? Every single day we are in front of people, and I believe most of the time we edit our income. That's worth writing down. How do you edit your income? It means you edit your contacts. You make assumptions. And to assume makes an ass of you and me. They're all cliches, but they're cliches because they're real. You decide in your whatever opinion, oh, they wouldn't be interested. I'll tell you what, I've learned one thing in this business. Everybody that I believe couldn't possibly do it can. And the ones I often think, yeah, they're going to be amazing, don't. So actually, we can't assume. All right. So how can you keep adding? Well, I'm going to now go through something. I mentioned this the other week. I'm going to mention it again because it was on Wes Linden's interview with new NGL Dan Holmes. Who watched it? Who listened? Brilliant. Well done. And if you didn't, shame on you, because there were something like, I don't know, there could have been 60 replays. They were going on from 6 in the morning till 10:30 at night every single day over the last 7 days. So there really was every opportunity for anybody. Okay. Now, I have heard this said many times in different ways, but I thought this was astounding. So get ready if you don't remember it. Steph Longworth, no, Wes said to Dan. It's because I've heard Steph do it too. Okay, so how could you build a big list? So say to yourself right now, your local petrol station, I'm not quite sure what they're selling at, but over the last few days, In fact, over a week, I think we've seen it go up about 50 pence a litre. It's bizarre. And if you're in diesel like I am, it's even more. In fact, the top one I've seen now is £2.05 a litre for diesel. The last time I filled up, I was chuffed to bits that I got it at 190. Now, just imagine your local station announced for 2 days only, you could pick up petrol or diesel for 20 pence a litre. I'm going to say to you, think about that seriously. Would you wait a week and then maybe do some neighbour letters? Or would you post on Facebook or Instagram and see what happens? Of course you damn well wouldn't. What you would be doing is you'd pick up the phone to all the people that you know and care about, and you'd be ringing them and saying, quick, get down here, 20 pence a litre, come and fill up. You would. Of course you would. That's how you need to treat your business. How many people in your phone have you not rung? How many people don't know what you do? You've got to get your phone, open it up, and you have to transfer and write every single name that's in your phone and get it in a contact book. Now, this is not stupidity. This is because if you write a name, leave a line, write a name, when you phone people, you can make notes on what's going on. And I promise you, I have signed up people after never speaking to them for 15 years before now. All right. It's just the way that you need to do it. That is your most essential, biggest activity. Followed by, are you ready? Pick up the damn phone. That's the Stuart Ritchie line, and I love it because you cannot, in any way, shape, or form, bring about the passion, the intonation, the verve by sending a text or a WhatsApp, worse, an email. It can't be done. I'm sorry, it just can't be done. And even those neighbour letters, I hate to say to you all, a lot of people put them out, and some people don't even look at them. They're straight in the recycling. That's why, if you're going to do it, you have to go back and knock the doors, because otherwise they'd really do nothing. They're just what we call name awareness. So what's the first and foremost best way of contact? It's face-to-face. Then it's the telephone. I'd say this is pretty good. This is almost like being together, isn't it? I can't give you a hug, but I'm hopefully getting some intonation over and stuff like that. And you can see me and I can see you. Yeah. Right down the list is just awful. It's, voice notes aren't bad because they can still hear your passion if you do it right. If you're my husband, I wouldn't do a voice note. He's not very passionate when he does voice notes, bless him. Telephone, and then it really is the bad stuff. Texting, WhatsApping. It's posting. It's like posting in an event. It just doesn't do it. Ramdat says there's only two things that are rainmaker activity: setting appointments and sitting appointments. And he's absolutely 100% correct. Everything else is fluff. Okay. So booking appointments. Now, it's another subject about how to get them, how to close them, and all the rest of it. And I think that's something for another day. What I'm talking about here is activity, because I can go into the depths, and I've done it on a few others. Okay. Alternative close, to make sure that people are looking at their diaries, making sure that if there's two people in the house that make decisions, oh, please don't set up an appointment with just one. You're wasting your time, honestly. If I had £1 for everyone that says, oh, I don't need my husband to make decisions for me, and then you do the appointment and then they go, oh, I must run it by my partner. I mean, it's just it's never going to happen. Yeah. Sitting appointments. That's the next big activity. It's the essential. This is what actually is our business is about. Now, sitting an appointment, it's best face to face. There's nothing that will ever improve on face to face. And in the past, before remote ever came along, oh God, sometimes I travelled 65 miles to go and see somebody and sign them up. And I've travelled 65 miles and not got anything either. But that's how it used to be. And you didn't know any different, did you? Zoom Zoom is the next because it's the nearest thing to face. I am really not very happy when I hear people talking about they set up a three-way WhatsApp and then they get people to go onto their computer and I'm thinking this is hard work. Honestly, I've never done that. Just not, it's just not clever. When you've got Zoom, there is so much you can show them as if you were face to face. Loads of stuff. I think the worst that I've ever had to do was it was with an elderly lady who could just about use a laptop. And there ain't no way she was going to do a Zoom. So I got her to go on the phone and I was on the phone and I got her to set up the presentation. And as she turned the pages, I talked and explained. All right. And then it was that she then had to do the filling in. And I tell you what, my heart, oh, it was like the stress because I'm thinking, oh, I hope she's filling this in right. That was hard work. And only ever had to do that once. But if I possibly can, I make it to be there because of many reasons. Like I'm checking out, take photographs of their meters. There's often so many things wrong with the meters. Um, I take a photograph of their I have some interesting photographs. I take a photograph of their internet connection socket, you know, their OpenReach or whatever it may be, making sure that everything's tickety-boo. There's all sorts of things that you can do. It is looking at the lay of their property and how Wi-Fi can bounce. There's so much that you can do when you're there that you can't possibly do. And also it's that thing. Have you ever been with somebody on a Zoom and you're trying to get them to get a pack code? Oh God. I think I'll tell you who made me laugh. Claire Hingott, when they did a Zoom, didn't they, training, one of their skills pays the bills. And she said, you nearly lose the will to live. You want to jump through the screen, don't you? You want to get hold of that phone because it's like, oh, you're telling them what to do. Has anyone ever spoken to someone who didn't know what the escape button was? I tell you, that's fascinating. When you're telling them to press escape and they don't know what you mean. I mean, there are people out there. They're there. One of them is my mum. She can't even use a mobile phone. She can't do an email. Never used a computer. They are there.
What
Right.
do you call the escape button, Lisa?
Well, it's ESC, isn't it? But the escape allows you to
Oh,
escape where you're leaving. But
yeah.
I've asked
Good.
somebody to press the escape button. They didn't even know what I was on about. Right. What's the other thing that's important in all of these essentials? I love this. This is straight out of Claire. Don't keep me a secret. On your appointment, don't keep me a secret. What a great line. Because you know what? We build our businesses through the most wonderful way, which is recommendation. Yeah. And have your people to help book, not a referral book. So most of my business these days, when it is personal to me, it is referral. It's all coming through referrals. All right. It's very rare I get something which is like just kind of brand new. I think I am allowed to say after I've done probably a couple of thousand appointments, I can say I've pretty much exhausted my warm list. Okay. Most people can't say that. How are we doing for time? Yeah. Now, what's the least important things you should do? Can I tell you? It's organising your desk and filing. All right. Really, I mean, if anyone comes and ever sees in here, because that's why I've got this backdrop, it's not a pretty sight, but it doesn't earn me any money. And do you know what? It'll always be there tomorrow. And I'm not a dirty or an untidy person, but I've had the odd moment when I've done some filing, but I've done it in time when I couldn't possibly phone anybody because rainmaker time is up till, are you aware it's up till 8 o'clock in the evening? I'd say 9 till 8. Okay. Um, I'm sorry, doing unnecessary admin. There's somebody in my team that I don't know how many times I will say just loves doing spreadsheets. I'm sorry, you don't need a spreadsheet to do a 20K. You really don't. And I once counted 26 of these renewed spreadsheets for one event. That's just time wasting. It honestly, it's just not necessary because that stuff, it's not earning you money. It's just not earning you money. Um, can I say constant browsing, you know, watching TV? Sorry if I'm saying this. Scrolling on social, that's not going to earn us any money either. Okay. It's rainmaker activity that we're after. That's what we're after doing. Okay. So how can I learn quicker? There was another question. Right. Here's the big one. Write it down in huge. Focus. Focus. Okay. You write, okay, and you need to not just observe, you need to do some active listening. That's totally different to hearing. People often hear, but they don't really listen and take in. Very important. I would recommend some super duper personal development. I think anything Big Al, anything Jim Rowan. Uh, I'll tell you what, Steph Longworth's written 2 books. Prepare for Takeoff and another one. I got both of his. In fact, I bought loads of them and I gave a lot away actually. There's one here. It's a good old fashioned one. Um, 79 network marketing tips. Do you know what? That one book, you can learn how to do a business with that, a network marketing business. Absolutely brilliant. Right, how do you find the time though? Shall I tell you what you do? You do what leaders do. Right. I'm going to ask Roz out of an interest. Roz, unmute. Off the top of your head, Roz, what time do you usually wake up and get up? You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Um, my alarm goes about 6:45,
7:15. Okay.
because it's about 3 days or two, at least 2 days a week, I'm networking early.
Okay. Now I can see Mike's not got his self muted. So, Mike, what sort of time do you get up in the morning?
Um, I've just started doing the miracle morning, so I've started getting up at 7. When I was working, I was getting up at 5:30. So
Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. Right. So, anyone on here, including me, whatever time it is, set your alarm. Oh, I know that's horrible, but set your alarm just 15 minutes earlier. And in 15 minutes, anyone can read 2 to 3 pages. And over a year, that's well over 1,000 pages. That is quite a few books.
Yeah.
So there is no need for anyone to say, I haven't got time to read a book. Just set that alarm 15 minutes earlier. And do you know what? You found yourself some personal development time. Or you could be super duper quick and you can do some multi-skilling. Anybody dog walkers there? Doggies? Yeah. You know what? Have a podcast on. I've started to be good at this because I love my morning walk and I'm a reader. I love reading, but I've started to listen to podcasts. And I listen to, do I admit this? I listen to Steve Bartlett when I'm in the shower. I listen to Steve Bartlett most mornings, and he absolutely gets me going with his incredible positivity and stuff like that. I've also realised, all this stuff on Facebook. Oh, God. I mean, whatever you do, don't listen to the news. Isn't it just dire? I know this tragedy. I know, and I'm not making light-hearted, but I promise you, it doesn't raise your spirits. Okay. I found somebody called Jacob Collier, who is the most amazing young man and the most incredible and talented musician, singer, everything that I have ever met. And he's only young and he's absolutely amazing. Find him on YouTube. Look up for the Jacob Collier in the Room. Oh my God, it's about an hour's documentary. It will absolutely blow your brains. And in fact, he's become my earworm. Oh, I can't stop singing him. I am out there and it's raising my spirits because, this stuff we need to do, don't we? We really do. Right. What else is there? How can I be quicker? Kiss. No, I don't mean literally. Well, you can. You can kiss anyone you want. But I mean, keep it short and simple. Too many people overcomplicate things. Yeah. Keep it short and simple, whatever you're doing. Honestly, I promise you, when I'm prospecting, I am not saying everything. Because if you say too much, confused people do nothing. Yeah. Assume. Don't assume. It makes an ass of you and me. All right. That stuff's important. Right. I'm on to my next bit here. I need time to do my business. Are you all using a diary or something? Because you do need one. You know that time that you all allocated, put it in your diary and it will actually show you where all the blanks are, where you can do work. Can I promise you, you do not need a whole day a week to do this in one fell swoop. You honestly don't. When I was very busy and I had a full-time job, 3 daughters at home, I virtually had no time, really didn't have any time. And my best prospecting time, when it was like my lunch break and I was on the hoof, I was in my little Ford. Oh gosh, sorry, it's a neighbour trying to get me in there. When I was very busy and I had no time, I used to have my diary open on the kitchen worktop. I'd be making the dinner. I'd have washing on the go. I'd be answering homework questions for the youngest, Gina. And I'd be making appointments in that half an hour. And I could often make 2 or 3 appointments in that half an hour, ready for when I needed them. When I was in between jobs and I was having a lunch, I'd be on my phone making appointments. I mean, honestly, you can do this literally in the nooks and crannies of the day. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff I've sort of said there. It's a bigger subject, totally bigger subject, all right? But I would say to you, there's many things that we can home in on. And one of them is definitely the whole how to make the appointments. Because isn't that the one we fear the most? Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. It honestly isn't. When I'm ringing people, what I do is I start off with a welcome call to someone in the team. Okay, because that's a nice thing to do. Or congratulatory calls. Oh, they're the best, aren't they? You're only ever going to give joy and receive joy when you do that. So then you've already started on the phone. So then the next thing you do is you do your little few prospecting calls. Guys, if you're not ringing someone every day, start off with 1. Because that's 7 a week. That's 31 a month. It's 365 in a year. I bet you're not ringing 365 people in a year at the moment. Yeah, and Rosalind's got the temerity here and the honesty to admit no. And it's because we do it in fits and starts, and that's not the way to do it.
No.
If you want a consistent business, you've got to do something a little consistently, because there's much more chance that you will do it well. Because, and I joke about this, Mr. Rob Barras, Tigger, used to say, You don't get a body like this if you go to the gym once a month. Well, you can't get good at this if you do this once a month because you lose your skills. You forget. We all do. But if you're doing a little bit every single day, do you know what? You can up your skills tremendously. And do you know the very best time to actually ring and prospect someone is when you've just signed somebody up, whether to earn money or save money. Always, because in your heart, you're feeling on a high. It's just a fact that. So that's the time to do it. Now, a very quick one. All right, 1 minute over at the minute, but I'm just going to tell you about yesterday. So I had a few days off doing my passion, which is gardening, growing my organic vegetables and getting it all together. But I'm now going to tell you that we did Tesco's, the big one, Fleetsbridge. Those that are local, you know it. It's huge. And my husband had to go to the little man's room, and I'm going through the conveyor belt, and the young man that's there is on his phone and he's tip-tapping away. Well, I was actually quite pleased because do you know what? There's nothing worse. Does anyone feel the same as me when you're trying to keep up with them and they're throwing it through the conveyor belt, aren't they? And you're like, oh, come on, I can't do that end and that end. But he waited for me because he was on his phone. So as he started going through, I said to him, this isn't your passion, is it? Working behind this till. And I said it in a nice way. And he went, no. I said, do you do anything else? He said, yeah. He said, I'm a roofer. I said, is that your passion? He said, no, not really. I said, oh, right. I said, but does it pay the bills? He said, sort of. I said, can I ask you, young man? I said, are you interested in having a life of choice rather than need? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, how would you like to have the kind of income that when you're going through the conveyor belt at Tesco's, as I am now, I'm earning money. When I'm asleep, I'm earning money. When I'm on the beach in Spain, I'm earning money. He said, how do you do that? I said, it's called passive reoccurring income. And I said, there are some of us have got into something which is wonderful. We help people save loads of money, and by doing so, we earn money. I said, it's quite a wonderful business. He said, oh, how do you do that? I said, we reduce people's bills for them at home. He said, do you? I said, yeah. I said, would you be interested in having an extra income? How would you like it? That, it wouldn't affect your job. But I said, you could actually, you could have some more money coming in. He said, yeah. I opened up my phone. I stopped packing. I opened it up and I gave him, I said, write your name. I said, write Tesco's afterwards and put your number. And I said, I'll send you some information. And he did. And I sent him Younger Generations UW Stories and How We Earn, which is the Kalichi, Tamsin and Bev one with Ben Fogle. He's come back, dead interested. He might come to the Buzz on Thursday at Bournemouth, or he said he's quite interested in jumping on Zoom. Now, I'm going to put this to you. Nothing may come of it, but he's really interested at the moment. And he's actually tip-tapping back to me the whole day that he's working. So I know it's on his mind, good time. Because I asked him to give me feedback. It might happen, but I could have chosen to edit my income and his by not even bothering. Do you know what? He could be a really amazing young man. And do you know what inspired me? I sent out to you all, didn't I? A wonderful story that Tom Marshall told us all about a young man called Kai McLaughlin. I think you pronounce his surname like that, with his young family, who's hit senior team leader and he only joined last August.
Incredible.
A roofer, builder. No, scaffolder. scaffolder. And that went in my mind as I thought, oh, don't assume, Lisa. Come on, give this young man a chance. So, guys, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, my final words to you are, how many times are you not bothering? How many times could you offer somebody an opportunity? And do you know what? It's okay reducing someone's bills, but it's much better to give them the chance to improve their life forever. So next week, it'll be the 14th. Same time, 4:30. I'd love to see you all. And this is being recorded. And if you've enjoyed this, great. All the best.
Lisa, just quickly,
Yeah.
can you slip in Matalan? Did you slip in Matalans?
No, we weren't allowed to.
Was that an a management decision?
Could I speak to you afterwards so it's
Yes,
not
please.
recording? Because I'm not very clever at editing.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.